Wake up, everybody! It's your girl Sofia here, back here on Sofia's Football Talk for a special stream as Champions League finally back after watching some doggone crap football in the Premier League this past season. We're gonna see some wonderful, magnificent, hopefully, football. And the Champions League is back tomorrow, and we're gonna be previewing Bayern versus Inter, and I have, of course, guys been here on the channel before. Liam from the Bayern View. How are you? Are you okay, mate? You good?
Yeah, bless up. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the game. Because obviously, obviously you being an Inter fan, me being a Bayern fan, I'm looking forward to the clash. But I'm sure we're going to get into it. But yeah, the injury problems is what's making me a little bit nervous, from my side anyway.
I completely understand that. People, make sure you do subscribe to the Bayern View. I have linked that in the title of this stream, and it's also in the description box. So make sure you head on over and subscribe. Give this video here a big thumbs up. And yes, that's about it. So obviously, it's been nearly 15 years since, if I'm not mistaken, since Bayern basically and Inter played each other. And that was obviously in the final treble. What a wonderful time it was. And here we are now facing each other again. Different circumstances.
Yeah.
Both in I would say kind of Bayern comfortably winning at this stage, right? The Bundesliga. I think so, at least. Maybe I'm wrong, but from what I'm seeing, it looks pretty comfortable compared to last season. When you finish kind of short at the very end and into in the title race alongside Napoli, but hopefully we'll do it at the very end. But with the Champions League in mind, I mean, how do you feel, Liam? Obviously, of course, you mentioned a little bit with the injuries, but right now with your season, are you happy with Bayern's season? And that goes in all comps, to be fair, in all competitions.
Damn. Hit the nail on the head there. All comps. Obviously, we got knocked out of the DFB Pokal, which is our version of our cup, by Leverkusen. It was just typical that they put us against Bayer Leverkusen when they did, and then we got eliminated by them. And then we actually got them in the Champions League, and we eliminated them. So got a bit of revenge there. League-wise, we've been doing really good this season. Obviously, there's been some losses and so on. But company as a whole, is he the right man for the job? That one is still undecided, to be honest with you, because he is learning on the job. Without a doubt, he is learning on the job. For instance, I know that you obviously support Man United as well, and I'm not gonna, I'm not digging or anything, but Almiron was doing good where he was, and then come to you guys, where company got relegated in the Premier League, and then somehow got the Bayern job. I think it's because he's one of the Pep disciples. He's one of the plays just like Pep Guardiola, especially after Thomas Tuchel. We needed an attacking manager that's literally just going to full on attack, and that's what he does. So with that one style of play, it's that in itself is why I think he's still in the job. When we got smashed by Barcelona in the Champions League, I did want him out. I would say I'm more on the fence now, with us obviously winning the league, doing okay in the Champions League, so on and so forth. But yeah, I generally would have been more confident in this game a couple weeks back. And if you even want to go on the channel, for instance, anyone, and check it, I was saying we're going to beat Inter. Now I'm not so confident just because of the injury problems. I think Upamecano has been one of the best centre backs in the world recently under company. From him being called Upper Maguire to him being a really good player for us. And then Harry Kane is Harry Kane. He's scoring on all cylinders. Olise has done way better than I thought he was going to do this season.
He's been
He's at,
exceptional.
yeah. And then obviously Musiala's Musiala. So, you know, but yeah, like as a whole, I'm a bit nervous for this game because Musiala's out, Alphonso Davies out, who else? Upamecano's out, Neuer's out, so we're gonna be playing our young lad Urbid. And when I was speaking to Footy Judge Mo earlier, and you'll know this as well, obviously being an Inter fan.
Yep.
For instance, there's a thing where if a certain amount of players for your team get booked, I think it's Pavard, Barella, Bastoni, and Dumfries if he's available. If they get yellow card, they miss the second leg. But you will, like, let's say they all four of them get yellow carded and they miss the second leg. You're still going to have available players where, for instance, we're going to be playing not like the best players as it is Sane, Gnabry, Coman. They're not good enough to play for Bayern.
Yeah.
But
I get what you're saying.
If those three get yellow carded, we're going to have to call up the kids. Like, have to call up the kids. There's no if buts or maybes about it. So, yeah, it's crazy. But as a whole, I feel confident at the moment of the league-wise. But Champions League, you never know because of the heritage. You know, last season I didn't think we were going to beat Arsenal, and we did. You know, so let's see what happens.
Exactly. I mean, as you said with Company, so you're kind of like, okay, wasn't maybe too fond of him at the beginning. It's a bit. Do you think that he'll get more time? Like, let's say, by winning the Bundesliga, does that buy him a bit more time, or is it not really that much of a difference? I don't know.
I think with the board, I think he will stay next season if he wins the league. To be honest, I actually think even if we go trophyless on the last day, I don't know if they'll sack him. Hopefully, fingers crossed that doesn't happen though. But if we win the Bundesliga, I think he's staying no matter what. Because of the attacking football. And I feel like, I hate to say it, but that whole trust the process thing has come to Bayern as well. And obviously, we're not going to get into that, but I feel like they will keep him. For me personally, I was expecting a double. I thought we could win the DFB Pokal at the start of the season. Could have won the DFB Pokal and the league. I wasn't too sure about the Champions League. Obviously, we're at the Pokal. We're probably going to be out to Inter, if not Barcelona, if we somehow get past you guys. Anyway, so likelihood is he will stay there, most likely. So it's like one of those. At the moment, I want the board out than I want the manager out. If that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like the fact that we've got Eric Dyer and Guerrero playing for Bayern Munich at this, like, it's mad. We've had players like Beckenbauer at our team, you know.
Exactly.
Great, like Gerd Muller and so on.
Dyer wearing a Bayern shirt would never be my bingo cards. Never.
I think you could win big money to put that on a bet. It was be like Leicester winning the Prem.
Right.
Jesus, see it happening. So so tomorrow it's gonna be interesting to see who he puts in. I haven't actually done my personal preview myself yet. I'm going to do that later for tomorrow. I'll get that out tomorrow morning. But for me personally, I hope he doesn't go way too attacking. Obviously, we need to attack because Inter's main strength, I would say, is defending and counter-attacking. So for me personally, I hope he goes with Stanisic at left back and he goes with Guerrero at left mid. So then Guerrero can come back and help on the defense because Guerrero isn't the best left back. He's more of a wing back. So be more defensive, in my opinion. Because if he goes, Musiala's out, isn't he? So who will it be? It'll be Olise on the right, I'm guessing. Muller in the middle and maybe Sane on the left. Maybe Gnabry plays, I'm not sure. But I feel like that's just way to attack it. They're not going to get back to help. And then you're just going to swarm us. Because I believe, if I'm right by saying, I think DeMarco's back, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so that's a scare. So which side would that be? So he'll be going against Olasey and Lima probably.
Mm,
He'll be going down that side, won't he? So, I don't even want
most
to
likely,
think
yeah.
about it. He's going to be
Oh.
bombing down that side, isn't he? Who's on the other side? Is Dumfries back or not?
No, he's not back yet. I think it
No,
probably
he's
will
not.
be Bisek, most likely. Maybe. I could be wrong.
He's a unit. Oh,
Mm.
bro, this is going to be a bad day for me, isn't it?
Mm.
Actually thinking about it, because then you're gonna have what, Bastoni on the left centre back.
Yep. I think we might also see, I think it may be a Serbi, probably. That's not
Yeah,
what I'm assuming. Yeah.
yeah, most likely.
Oh, wait, it might be, you know what? No, it might be like, potentially could be Darmian on that right wing back.
Ooh,
Yes. And Bisek may be in the back
right
three.
centre back. Yeah.
Yes.
And then obviously Jan Sommer, we know him from obviously his time at Bayern, but
Yep.
also the reason we bought him in the first place was because he was so good against us. So I'm sure he's going to be pumped up for this game. Because the reason he
He'll be
left
on it,
us,
I think.
yeah, the reason he left us was because he wanted playing time, and obviously he's had that at Inter. He's their main keeper, obviously. So
Yep.
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one to see if he does turn up, because like I said, one of the reasons we signed him was I think he had 18 saves in one game, and I think that was when we had Lewandowski as well. We just could not score. So yeah. So what? So in your last game against Parma, can't say it.
Parma, yeah.
You played. So what? You had Summer and goal, Bizak, right centre back, Cherby, Bastoni, DeMarco wing back, Darmian wing back.
Yep.
Okay. So do you think he'll go with the three in the mid as well?
I think so.
So you're probably gonna have Kalanoglu in there.
Yep.
Barella probably.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then maybe what? Mkhitaryan maybe or not?
It could be Mkhitaryan.
Yeah, just look at
this.
I'm just looking at your bench here. It's mad. They got Benjamin Pavard as a centre back, just sat on the bench. Devige. Damn.
Actually would prefer maybe having Pavard, to be fair, over Bisek, just because Bisek has been a little bit like 50-50 the last few games, not been fully on it. But I just have a feeling he probably will be starting Bisek and have Pavard on the bench, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah. Where do you think your goals come from?
I mean,
Thuram.
I think Thuram needs to be on it, but he's been like, the thing is, he is scoring goals, but there's also like, if we kind of compare it to last season, it's not as up to par, but he could still be a threat. Of course, Lautaro Martinez. I'm thinking also Çalhanoğlu outside of that, outside the box can definitely be a threat, especially when you have like a DeMarco probably feeding those crosses, right? So the players I mentioned, they would be like the key players in regards to like getting the goals.
Yeah.
But we were struck like Inter they were 2-0 up in the last game, bottled it 2-2. Didn't have the shooting boots on. So it was one of those days. I still feel like we'll be up for it tomorrow, hopefully. Make sure,
I'll be very surprised if we're not.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. But it was concerning seeing that game, how they just, second half, just, nothing was working.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because
the
Serie A Inter and then the Cup Inter are totally two different teams. Which makes no sense,
right?
Because it's the same players and then same manager, same system, everything.
Like you had a game where you could kind of, obviously make that lead down to Napoli in the title race, make that gap a bit bigger, but no, drop points for no reason. I don't get it.
Mad.
No idea.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? As a Bayern fan, we need the league Inter, Serie A Inter, to turn up against us for us to have any chance. You know, with like I was just saying a little bit earlier, the yellow card situation. If they even get a yellow, they miss the second leg. Like, I don't think Koeman will play anyway because I think he's got an infection in his foot, I believe.
Okay.
So Gnabry, if he gets a yellow, he'll be suspended. Leon Goretzka, Lima, and Sane. So they are literally, other than Gnabry, Goretzka, Lima, and Sane, are starters for us.
Exactly.
So they need to, you know, it sounds stupid to say, but they need to be professional, and not.
But yeah, you have to. You know, you have to make sure do not get a silly yellow. By all means necessary, don't get any yellows, especially with your situation, the fact that there's a lot of injuries. You can't really afford to have more players not be there next week, right? Especially away to Inter. That's, you know, regardless of how the game goes tomorrow, like let's say Inter does win, but not with the big goal deficit. You're still in the game. Still want to be able to try to go for it, right? So you need your players for it. Who do you think will be key players for Bayern in this fixture?
Most definitely Harry Kane. Me personally,
100%.
I think he's the best striker in the world right now. Obviously, that's up for debate. You know, Isak. I was going to say Goretzka, definitely not Goretzka. Goretzka, and Lewandowski and so on. But like he's doing amazing.
He's up there.
But the problem with that is you can have the best striker, but there's no one like Musiala giving him the ball in. He's not gonna, you know, do.
That's
do
a bummer.
So, So the key will be Joshua Kimmich's been amazing recently. Since he signed, like the whole season, I've wanted him out because I just didn't think he was good enough. And then ever since he signed the contract extension, he has actually been really, really good. So hopefully that stays, you know, going on in the future. But for me, it'll be Kimmich, it will be Olise, and it will be Kane. Those will be the three that you will need to watch out for. Obviously, other players can score, but like for me personally, if Zaghi gets in there and bogs down both Kane and Olise, it's going to be hard for Bayern to do anything. To be honest, like even this game as a whole, you know, you could lose 1-0 and then take like it doesn't, as long as we don't smash you, which I don't expect to happen. I think whatever happens, you can just take it to the San Siro and finish us there, because like especially with those yellow cards, you know, if we get one or two of those yellow cards, even more, you know, that's going to be massive like advantage for you guys. So, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, company's doing some voodoo magic to get some of your players to be missing, Barella, so on and so forth. But the likelihood is Lyman normally gets a stupid yellow card every time he plays. Goretzka's the same. I don't know about the attackers, to be honest. Koeman, Sane, and Gnabry, I don't see them unless they put in a stupid challenge. I don't see them doing it because they're not that sort of rash. Unless I guess they're trying to do a tactical foul, but they will know prior to the game that they can't do a stupid foul because they're going to miss the second leg. That would just be dumb.
Exactly.
So but the keys will be those three, like I said. The thing that scares me the most is our defense. Like your attack doesn't really scare me. If I'm being 100% honest, like Martinez is a really good player. Don't get it twisted, but he's so hit and miss.
Yes.
And then same with Thuram. Obviously, we know about Thuram because he used to play in the Bundesliga. So, like those two players are so hit and miss. But at the same time, our defense is probably going to be Lima right back, Eric Dyer centre back, Kim centre back, and Stanisic left back, which is the weakest it probably could be, unless you were to put kids in, of
Yeah.
course. So that's where the advantage comes from Inter, and the way Inter play as well, of course, for the wing back situation.
Yeah. But with Kim Min Jae,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, would it be right to say the downfall of him? I just feel like the guy was just so wow, from Napoli, and then Bayern. I feel like it's not been what you would expect. I still do think there's a player in there, but I don't know. What do you feel with him? Do you feel he's just not good enough, or do you think okay, there's still something there?
Mm-hmm.
If you could get better, would you want to replace him?
If it comes to the summer, to be honest, I'm selling him. Just because we haven't, we haven't got the player that we thought we were going to get. It actually reminds me a lot of Maguire. Now, I don't believe Maguire, when he was at Leicester, was one of the better centre backs in the world, like Kim was.
No.
Obviously, at Napoli, winning leagues
Kim
and so on.
Yeah.
But
I wanted Kim. Yeah.
Like the expectation, you're expecting someone to come in, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the league. He's had about 4 or 5 partners and hasn't been consistent. In De Ligt, was one of his partners didn't work. Then they tried Eric Dyer, that didn't work. Othman Kano, that didn't work. So I don't know if it's the partner next to him or if it's just him.
Maybe he's the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he works in a team that defend as well. Like for instance, like an Inter, I think he'd work perfectly for an Inter, because you don't play with a high line, where Bayern play with a high line. So and I feel like that's another reason why Othman Kano's been a bit terrible at times, because of that high line. So yeah, like for me, I would get rid of him personally, just because I think the best thing is just to go mutual and just say you go, because he's still so young, especially in life, obviously, but in football he's still so young as well. Why not just go and do something else? Because what is it? He's only 28. Most players play to 35 these days.
Yeah, especially with defenders like centre back, they can play for a long time.
Yeah, so I think Serie A would be perfect for him to go back to, but I don't know if we will get rid of him. We've been linked with everyone, as they normally do in transfer news and everything. But yeah, he is a player that definitely a disappointment. You think you're getting, him, if you actually deep it, let's say a couple years back, you get De Ligt in. Obviously, he didn't have a good time in Serie A. Get him in, he's really good for Bayern in his first season. Then you go and get Kim Min Jae. That should be the perfect duo. It just didn't work. So, yes, like I said, it's going to be a difficult game tomorrow. I really hope we didn't get the injuries, because I would have been totally different now. I would have been so much more confident, but you just can't be confident when you've got Eric Dyer on the pitch. Like, he's just a walk-in error. Like, he really is. Like, the thing is, I'm going to contradict myself, because at the same time, I have signed a what's it called? Can't think of what the thing's called. Do you know when they do like loads of votes? I can't think of what it's called.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those. I signed one of those for him to stay, because I wouldn't mind.
Like petition.
Petition, that's it. I signed a petition for him to stay, and a lot of people are like, well, why are you complaining about him then? And I'm like, the point is, I want him to be a player like Lima and come in when you need him to, because you need those around him. I don't want him being a starter. He can't be a starter.
Yeah, like a squad player, that's all right, but not like an actual. Okay.
Like, just maybe like the start of the Champions League or the start of the Pokal, he can play a couple games.
Yeah.
He's not earning a ridiculous amount of money anyway.
So I hear it.
For me, I would keep him in that, but like not as a starter to play against Inter Milan. Like, that in itself is stupid.
Do you think the reason why he actually went to Bayern is due to the fact that Kane is there?
There is that. there is that, and I understand where that would come from. But for me personally, I don't believe Harry Kane is someone that needs someone to hold his hand. He doesn't
Yeah,
seem like he
I don't
doesn't
think that
normally
either.
go under the radar. He seems
Yeah.
quite confident in his own abilities. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I would understand it, bring an
Mm-hmm.
Englishman in. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like for me, everyone over in Germany speaks English anyway. They teach it in schools.
Exactly.
So, like,
Yeah.
but I generally think it's Thomas Tuchel, to be honest. Me personally,
Yeah.
I think it's Thomas Tuchel
Mm.
because we obviously got Harry Kane. He's a Premier League player.
Yep.
Eric Dyer was a Premier League player. All I say now, obviously Tuchel didn't get him, but now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Yalpalinia, he was looking at him. Obviously, we got him after
True.
he left, but he wanted him. That deal failed in the summer of Tuchel's season. We
Yep.
were linked to Mason Mount. We were linked to Kai Havertz. So it's just this whole Premier League model. I don't really understand why Bayern ever went away from Bayern in their own league, because that's what made the dynasty
That
the
has
dynasty.
been working. That makes Bayern. Like you find the top talents from the your opposition teams, and they become world class. Like,
Yeah.
why do you have to step away from the model that was working? Doesn't make sense. Yeah. Speaking of Palidia, what's he doing? I don't feel like I hear that much
Oh, no, he is. I feel bad for him because he doesn't get a string of
about.
games, and I feel like he needs a string of games. Like he was
Yeah.
a guaranteed starter for Fulham,
Uh-huh.
um, and
Yes, he
that's what
was.
made other teams look at him, i.e., Bayern as
Mm-hmm.
well. You know,
Yeah.
and then they come in and they're like, I generally think I think it was a Thomas Tuchel sign-in. Obviously, we didn't get him
Mm-hmm.
then, but I think the board the board is still here that was with Tuchel. So I think they're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, we're still going to go for him. And company didn't want him
Yeah.
because as soon as we signed him, I don't think he played like the first 4 or 5 games, which
Yeah.
with a new manager, you normally do that.
That's not a
Don't
good
get me
sign.
twisted.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can
Mm.
see, fair enough, company's a new manager. He's going to come in and he's going to want to try different players to see who's good for his system, blah, blah, blah. But
Mm-hmm.
for me personally, I don't think he was a company signing. Um,
Yeah.
so company has had to play him in some games because of injuries. But yeah, he generally is terrible. Like the Polinia, if you were to compare the two and put their clips of the two next to each other, you'd think they were totally
Mm-hmm.
two different players because when he was at Fulham, he was so calm on the ball, with his passing, the long passes, the short passes. Then with the tackling, he wasn't like he was rash. He's a rash player, but they
Yeah.
weren't as rash to the point where he's getting red cards. Like he's been getting red
Yeah.
cards with us, um, because he's putting in these tackles. But at the same time, it's kind of a double-edged sword because if you don't play him, you
Mm.
can't expect him to be good. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you may as well ask someone off the street to play. To be
Exactly.
honest,
The players need a proper, games that they can play. They need, in order for them to be consistent and become good, they need to get proper game time. If not, it'll be all wasted. And
yeah,
with the money spent just to stay on the bench, doesn't make sense. And it must suck for the player to be like, okay, you guys wanted me, it didn't work out. Obviously, the transfer, the whole deal collapsed right then. I was stranded. I had to go back. I kept being professional, and then finally I get my, the dream move. And there's a new manager. He doesn't seem to want me, and I'm just here now.
yeah,
It's to be an
exactly.
awful feeling.
Yeah, and I get it. That's gonna I know a lot of people think that, footballers are superhuman, but they are still human,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that probably did mess up with his psyche and his mental health and so on, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
so I do feel bad for him. Like I'm not. It's same with
Uh-huh.
Kim and Jet. I feel bad for both of them.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but at the same time, this is a cutthroat business and it's a
Of
results
course.
business. And when these players don't play well, they cost a big team like Bayern or an Inter or a Man United or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So
The
yeah,
game's
I
game.
do. It's just one of those.
Mm, exactly. Um, I'm trying to think. if we maybe move the conversation a little bit more towards like Inter, have you been watching any Inter games, like whether it be in the Champions League or maybe Serie A? Like, what do you make of Inter this season? Obviously, you said, of course, it's
Yeah,
two
yeah,
different Inters with, the cup game Inter and then the Serie A Inter. Anything more to add into that?
yeah. So I watched the game versus Juventus, which I think you lost. I think.
Nope.
And then I watched the Man City game, and there was another the recent one, the Feyenoord game. I believe it was Feyenoord. I watched that one
Right.
as well.
Yep.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
those were the games I've watched. So yeah, obviously, that's where I get and I've got one of my closest friends, Gio. He's a Juventus fan, so he tells me a lot about Juventus as well. Not Juventus, Inter. Sorry.
Inter, yeah.
So I obviously get a lot from him. So it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's like I said, the two different system in itself is more special. And like how you do that, I don't know. But I guess that's just Inzaghi and Inzaghi ball.
Inzaghi ball indeed. Yeah, I mean, it'll be very interesting tomorrow with, of course, into that overall the season. I think okay, there's a lot of positives, but as of lately,
Yeah.
that game definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. The last Serie A game, but there's even more to play for now, and I hope and I believe that they'll be up for the occasion. But yeah, it'll be very interesting with, of course, as you mentioned, injury crisis
Mm.
in Bayern. Do you think with the injuries that has occurred for you guys, a lot of it, and it's not only you, it's a lot of other teams as well.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Like in general, I'm thinking like in a lot of the different leagues.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's even more games now being played?
Yeah, like international as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
for me, like I don't know about you, but for
Yeah.
me personally, I've never really been one to watch international football.
Mm-hmm.
Like if a World Cup's on or the Euros are on, I'll watch. Obviously, I'm English, so I
Uh-huh.
watch England, which is
Yeah,
always
of course.
terrible, obviously. Um, but like, I just think it's the wrong time. I feel like there needs to be just one big break for me, like rather
Mm,
than these all different international breaks. It's so
yeah.
annoying. Like this most recent one, we've had Alfonso Davies was he got injured in the Canada game versus America, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like if it was for a World Cup
Ridiculous.
qualifier or
Yeah.
it was the final or something like that, fair enough. But
Yeah.
he already had a niggle in itself, and already had pain in his leg itself, and then it goes on to push on to it, mad. Then
Of
pushes
course,
on
Thomas.
to like it was literally for third place. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's so dumb. So international football in itself is one of the reasons why Upper got hurt in the international break as well.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think Kabasi, I think is how you say his name, Kabasi, for Barcelona. Um, so yeah, like it's that's that. So
We know, Lusam, we know you work with Mo, obviously, of course,
they got me.
you know, the shows you do together. Fully aware, but Forza Indy, either way, Lusam, and hold that. Fulham, all the way. What they did to you yesterday, that was sensational. Lovely.
Mad,
But yeah,
crazy.
like you said, there were definitely a couple of players um, unnecessary, and it sucks to see, especially when it comes to like the international break and you see them getting injured when it's games that with no significance. With Alfonso Davis, I feel bad.
Hmm.
Kind of been dragged out for a long time. Why?
Yeah,
What's the need? I
exactly.
don't get
Like
it.
no, me neither. Um,
Mhm.
just looking at the head-to-head, we actually played in the 2022-23 season. I think that's when I come on your channel last time, I believe.
Of
Um,
course,
it was in the group stage, I believe, when the group
you
stage
are
is still a thing.
right. You are right.
Yeah, because that was Bayern smashed both games 2-0.
Yep.
In that one, and I believe that was actually the year you got to the final, and Man City won it.
Yep.
Like how we smash you 2-0, 2-0, and then you still get to the final is beyond me. But
Doesn't make. But here we are.
yeah, there's not actually many games played though. So on the head-to-head stat, Bayern have 4 wins, Inter have 2, and then there's 1 draw. Obviously, one of those wins for Inter is the final, where obviously they won 2-0. But other than that, there's not even many goals. 16 goals in there. You've scored 6, we've scored 10. So it's a tricky game. It's a tricky game.
Yeah.
So
it probably won't be like a high-scoring game or anything like that. But it'll be an intense game. I think so. Which,
yeah.
Regardless of the circumstances, both teams will be up for it 100%.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Hopefully my team are. But yeah, even the European heritage as a whole, you know, could work for Bayern, but I don't know. To be honest, I think it's going to be a draw.
Okay.
Me personally, I would love a win, of course, but I think it'll be a draw, and then it will go obviously either way in the second leg in Italy. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to predict because obviously, if this, let's just say no injuries, obviously that's not a real world because that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But no injuries of recent, it would have been such a better game. You're first in your league,
I know.
we're first in our league, and then you clash in the Champions League. Because otherwise, we're still going for a treble, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can still win the treble.
Yes.
So, you know, mad. If you win the treble this season, that's going to be crazy.
With the season Man United is having, oh my God, that would be incredible. That would be insane. I don't think that would happen though, to be fair. I don't see it happening. But that would be insane if it does. Wow. I'll be content with, of course, I'm thinking Serie A will be happening, but would love to see Inter win the Champions League though. That would be great. It's been years. Will be quite wonderful. But we have to see. But before we slowly wrap up, so obviously you were kind of saying you think it's going to be a draw. Do you have like an exact score prediction, even though it is, of course, tough to predict?
Yeah. The thing is with Bayern is obviously we can score goals, but our defense is also bad. So I think going with a 1-1 is staying too safe. So I think it could push to like maybe a 2-2. Would probably be where I'm thinking. I could imagine you guys giving up a penalty or something like that. Because obviously you don't really get scored on unless it's a set piece. So something like that. Me personally, out of hope and hope only, I want a 3-1 win, but the likelihood is it's going to be a draw.
Okay.
So like I said, out of hope only, I'm thinking 3-1. That's like my heart speaking. My head is said a draw.
I hear it. Yet it's tough. I have a feeling Inter might edge it 2-1. But something in me tells me maybe it'll be like 1-1, maybe even a 2-2. I don't know. Just have a feeling that it could be a draw. I would prefer it, like you, to be a win. But
of course, 100%. Yeah, because if you win, you kind of got 1 foot already in the semi-final. Obviously, you can never doubt Bayern, of course, but
exactly. You can never doubt Bayern, even though with the injuries, you still, because you never know. You never know.
Yeah,
so the dugout, like he says, tie of the round for me. Yes, gonna go 1-1 draw for this leg. That can happen. Although I think Inter could go through in Milan. Yeah, that's what I kind of feel. I'm happy with the second leg being at the San Siro.
Yeah,
that gives me a bit more like confidence. If it was the other way around, I would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I would have loved it for it to be the other way around. play the hard game in Italy and then obviously take it back to Munich. But I actually think, if I'm right by saying Inter, if they get through us, they still, in the second leg of the Barca or Dortmund game, whoever goes through, I think it's the same. I think you're away first and home again second.
I think so. I'm not completely sure, but I feel like that might be the case as well. I think you might be right there. And that would be great. I mean,
that's an easy way to the final. Obviously, you can never say anything in football, but
no, yeah, but it will be a bit more like, okay,
hard games first,
just
and
maybe
then finish it off at home.
Yeah, rather the second leg being at your own ground for sure. Yes, but this has been a good stream, Liam. I appreciate it. Tell people what you got going on next on your channel.
Yeah, bless up to everybody watching live and watching after it's gone out as a video. Yeah, big up. Make sure you just smash the likes and hit the subscribe button. On the Bayern view, that's the channel just there, literally just like that. I got to do a press conference reaction in a little bit to a company in Lima, see what they're saying. Then I'll do my preview for going up for tomorrow morning. Then obviously stream tomorrow, the watch along, and then player ratings after that. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a good player ratings, and I'm not going to be raging that the lads have done terrible. But yeah, thank you for having me on.
No problem. There you have it, people. Make sure you do subscribe to the Bayern View. I have the obviously handle, the name in the title, but also in the description box. So head on over, show some love. Also give this video here a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back to most likely post a review reaction for obviously both this game, and also we'll be watching the Arsenal Real Madrid game as well, because there's some good games tomorrow and I'm excited. So locked in for both reaction. Make sure you have on the notification bell button so you see both. But yeah, guys, people, thank you all for the love, and we'll see you soon. Peace out. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, this will redirect you to Say It TV, so show some love.
Big upside.
And see you later.